Hello and welcome to Voices of Parenting podcast. I am so glad you're here. My name is Mussi Diskin. I am an advanced nurtured heart approach trainer. I am a parenting coach. I am also an inner wealth coach, which means that I help people rediscover and connect to the people that they truly were all along, but may have gotten forgotten along the way. So to find out more about me and what I offer, you can check out mussidiskin.com, contact me through there, respond to this podcast, find me on social media. I would love to connect and I would love to hear your feedback. To sponsor a Voices of Parenting podcast episode, please reach out to energizinghearts@gmail.com. Thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. So today we have Chanie Fogelman, a trainer for the Nurtured Heart Approach, who's going to share her CTI experience with us, as have been the past few podcast episodes, as we get ready for the November in-person CTI in Mussi for women, geared for the religious community. It's getting serious, guys. I was just able, here's a little announcement and gratitude. I was able to give out a bunch of scholarships yesterday, which I'm so happy about. And I would love to give out more. We still have lots more requests. So if you are someone that cares about this work and wants to have a part in it, maybe you can't come to the CTI yourself, but you want to be a part of it somehow, or you can come to the CTI and you want to be a part of it. I'm going to put the donation link this week down at the bottom because I would love to be able to honor some more scholarships and make this accessible to anyone. But let's hear about Chanie's story. So Chanie, I guess before we start, if you could just take a minute to just introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, and then we'll get into your story.
Okay. Hi, Mussi. Okay, so you got my name, Chanie Fogelman, and I want to say thank you, Mussi, for giving me the honor of being on your podcast. So I live in Natick, Massachusetts. I am a wife, a mother, a grandmother, thank God. My husband is a rabbi, and together we run the Chabad Center here, which serves Natick and other towns in the Metro West area of Boston. So I've been involved in education at all age levels, from the very young ones to adult education. And I'm certified, before CTI stuff, I'm certified as director and lead teacher in early education from infants on up. So for many years, I ran preschool and daycare, as well as Sunday Hebrew school. And at some point, maybe 8 or so years ago, we heard about the concept of an after school. And I started to look into it. And that was before COVID. It seems like everything now is pre-COVID or after COVID. While I started to look into it while I was still doing daycare, and the reality was that I could not possibly fit it into my schedule at the time. Things then shifted around COVID time when we had to close up for a while, and I started to rethink the after school, and my husband and I, decided that it would be the right thing for our community. And at this point, then it might work for us to do it. So how do you get started with a big venture like that? So I started to call Chabads all over that I heard had an after school. There were not many at that time. I think that now it's catching on a little bit more. It's a little tiny bit off the topic, but it will help to understand. But so, by the way, there's a difference between Hebrew school and after school. That difference is pretty huge because both of them, Hebrew school or after school, especially if it's Chabad, aim to give the best joyful Jewish experience to the kids. But after school is a much bigger undertaking. It's much more full-time. So everyone I consulted with was gracious with their time, and I learned so much from each of the calls. But the game changer for me, and I didn't realize it at the time, was when I reached out to Devorah Levin of Palo Alto. She was so kind to walk me through everything about her amazing after school. And after the good part of an hour, I was feeling guilty for taking up so much of her valuable time, and I was preparing to get off the phone. So I thanked her, of course, from the bottom of my heart. And that's when she said to me, "Have you heard of the nurtured heart approach?" And then she kept me on the phone for the next half hour. She was so animated as she shared with me how it had a significant impact on her in so many ways, in her personal life, with family, and especially with running the after school. And she told me how her sister-in-law, which was you, Mussi, yeah,
Guilty as
had
charged.
introduced her to this and inspired her to learn about it, and then even to do the intensive training. So
Wow. You know, I did not
that's
know
the
that. I did not
beginning.
know that connection. I did not realize that you came through Devora. That's so cool. I have to thank her. Look what good has come out of that. It's just it's a like the candle that keeps giving, you know. The rip-
Right, right, exactly. Yeah.
wow. So you just went straight from there. You went to what was your next step? What did you?
So, yeah. So in the fall of 2021, still wearing masks and all, we opened up our after school with a handful or less even of kids. And thank God it's, multiplied and over these years. And it's been going well. And a lot of hard work, of course. But I'm beyond grateful for having been trained with the tools of the Nurtured Heart approach. We started with a small group, and we were divinely gifted with a few very intense personalities. It was the perfect stage to test my Nurtured Heart training and abilities. So in this time, at the beginning, I had also trained our staff. And just a reminder for everybody who's listening, once you do the CTI, the intensive training, you become certified to be able to provide trainings. You supplied with information and materials to train others. So I trained my staff, and yeah, so we took it from there, and we were all on board together doing our very best. It was definitely a learning experience to, put it into action.
What a gift to those kids, and the staff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious if we could
So,
yeah, go ahead.
so that's a great question. I feel I should go back to one point of when Devora shared with me your contact information and what happened. So the next step. So there was a summertime training that you did like for a couple of weeks, and that was an easy bite for me. At that time, it was in between. I was able to find the time then to get on with you, and at the end of that, you also recommended the intensive training. But in that training that you shared, there was so many things. You have that energy, that gift of sharing in such a beautiful way and really teaching so that things are clear, the information is clear. But there was one example that you shared in your personal life that was like also a very big wow moment. It was a wow moment, like, wow, this is how it works. It was the mattress story. Do you remember what I'm talking about? Can you
Absolutely.
mind to share it again? I want to hear it. I think, especially since if you're asking for my story, to me, it was like, wow, I have to know more about this.
Wow. Well, good to know that I'm sharing it at the right place at the right time in those trainings. But it's interesting because that story happened after my CTI, after my first intensive training, and to me, it was a result of the training for sure that I was able to have I guess the tool set or the knowing of like in the moment, real time, being able to do that what we call a reset. What I call a reset for myself is to be able to reset myself to the three stands. So I guess all of our listeners don't necessarily know Nurtured Heart. Nurtured Heart is three stands, and the three stands are all simultaneous, but we can literally walk ourselves through them to help ourselves know how to approach any situation in a way that's going to stand in integrity with our real goal, which is to bring out the greatness in ourselves and in others, and to relate from that space and to stay in that space and never leave that space and build that inner wealth. So this story was the first time that I was able to be in a really, really intense moment, and in the moment, like walk myself through the three stands. Because so often I'd look back at a day and I'd be like, oh, I should have reset then. Okay, this is what I could have done. And that's good too, because in a calm moment to look back and say what I could have done just gives me a little bit more clarity of what I could do next time, so that next time I'm less just overwhelmed. So I'm grateful that I took the time to reflect, but it was a lot of reflecting, and it wasn't a lot of in the moment knowing what to do. It was in the moment flooding and losing my top for the most part. So anyway, so here's my mattress story. So at the time, we had bedtime at the same time for everyone, and we were split up. My husband was in the girls' room, I was in the boys' room. And at the time, my son was sleeping on a plastic sheet for nighttime accidents. And we had the type of sheet, the plastic sheet that has the padding on top. So it's more comfortable for the kid, but means every time there's an overflow, I need to wash it. So it's really inconvenient. And I decided to change it for a plastic sheet that goes over the entire mattress. Like you unzip it and you put the mattress into it. So we get this thing, and it was delivered in the morning, and I strip the bed and move everything to the laundry. And I'm like, it's really hard to get the mattress on with this thing, because it's this whole big deal to unzip it and put the mattress in. My husband could probably do it in 2 seconds. He's a big, strong man. I'm a little lady. I'm going to let him do it. So I left it for him to do, and I completely forgot about it. And he came home, and we had dinner, and we did everything, and we were all ready for bed, and I completely forgot about this sheet. So we come, it's bedtime, kids are in pajamas, teeth are brushed, everything went well, the kids are well behaved, we're all good, lovely, we're gonna have a great nighttime. And I walk into the room and I see that the bed is stripped and that this plastic is on the floor next to the bed. And I just got so flooded in that moment with regret, shame that I didn't remember to tell my husband, fear, what's going to happen next. Now bedtime is messed up. Just right away. One of the things that I know are really hard for me is pivoting from one expectation to another. I have a hard time with transitions. That's something that I have a hard time with, period. But we have a plan. We're going to bed now. Now what? Now we can't go to bed because the bed isn't made, and it's my fault. I'm the one who didn't have my husband do it. I was beating myself up in my head, and my best protective instinct is fight. I just run in like a bulldozer. I'm going to make whatever needs to happen. No thinking, no sanity, just running. So I run over to the bed and I pick up the mattress. I put it on my head, leaning on my head. So it's leaning on the bed and on my head. And I open up the zipper and I'm trying to get it on from behind my head. I don't know if you can see the image of it, but it's a heavy mattress. It's on my head. Try to get it on. And my son jumps on my back in this moment. And I just wanted to pick him up and throw him across the room. I actually said the story on another podcast, Chanie, and the interviewer asked, she's like, but you didn't really want to throw him across the room. She was trying to make it sound better. That was a little harsh, that I want to throw my kid. And I was like, no, I wanted to throw him across the room. Every single bit of my body wanted to throw him. That's how I was. This heavy mattress is on my head. I'm beating myself up inside, full on beating. Feeling horrible, hot, sweaty, all the feelings of being flooded with this mattress on my head. And now my son's on my back. What's he thinking, right? And I just had this clarity. And you know what I say? It's like a gift from God, or whatever you believe in. But it's a gift from above in that moment to have the clarity to need to reset. I feel like that's something that I can't decide the timeline of healing or progress for me to be able to get that moment of clarity. I feel like that's a total gift. But in that moment, I got that gift that I was like, oh my gosh, Mussi, reset. That's what you need to do. You don't need to do anything. You need to reset. And I was like, okay. So I took a deep breath and I started narrating. Okay, what's the facts on the table? What's the reality that I'm in? Okay, I am hot. I am sweaty. I am beating myself up. I have this, I hate myself right now. I have this mattress on my head. My son's on my back. Okay, stand one. I'm not, stop beating myself up. Mistakes happen. Stand one is absolutely no. I refuse to energize negativity. So bedtime won't happen on time today. So bedtime will be a little late. It's not the end of the world. These things happen. It's okay. You got distracted. Stand two. Wow, I'm resetting. I'm breathing. This all took place in like such a quick amount of time. But like in this moment, I'm like, okay, stop with that. Now here, what's going right? Okay, what's going right? I'm doing a reset. I'm breathing. I'm going through the three stands in the moment. Oh my gosh, I did not throw my kid across the room and he's still on my back. Like I'm a superhero. And then stand three is clarity. What's the clarity? What's actually happening here and what needs to happen? I was like, oh my gosh, I have not given any clarity to my kids. We walked in planning to go to bed, and then now I'm standing like a circus monkey with a mattress on my head. My son just wanted to join in the party. My other son was jumping on the other bed, but this son was on my back, and I was like, he just doesn't know what's happening. He's like, that's funny. Why does mommy have a mattress on her bed? So he just jumped on my back because it seemed like a fun thing to do. He didn't have any clarity. They don't know what's going on. So I was like, okay, clarity. I need to set clarity. What do I need right now? I took a deep breath, and first of all, I was like, my son, get off my back. I need you to get off my back right now. Okay, fine. He got off my back, actually. He listened right away. He wasn't misbehaving. He was confused and having a party with me and what he misread as a party. I said, boys, mommy made a big mistake. I forgot to put on the mattress cover. And this mattress is so heavy and so big, and I am so hot and having such a hard time. I need a lot of space because this is very hard for me. So here's the clarity. Bedtime is canceled. You guys could do whatever you want. You could go downstairs. You could play. You could eat a snack. I don't care. I just need space. And when I get this mattress together and I finish making the bed, I will call you and let you know, and we're going to start over. And I don't know when that's going to happen. So right now, just go play. Like, go do whatever you want. And they did. They ran off. They were so happy. They got extra time to play. Like, no big deal. But they didn't have that clarity. They didn't know what was going on. So that was an incredible moment of just walking myself through the three stands to resetting back to clarity and moving forward, instead of it being this like relational mess where I'm like yelling at my kids or blaming them or, continuing to blame myself, which ultimately comes out on them. Throwing him across the room would not have been great. So yeah, that's my story.
And that's what rang to me. Bedtime is canceled. Like, who does that? That's such a novel idea. Never heard of such a thing before. But that was what was so powerful, how you wove the stands together for that moment to bring the best of you to your kids and to make it a great moment for everybody.
Thank you. Thank you for reflecting that. And I think that that's really a key point of what I walked away with the CTI. This is supposed to be your CTI story, but I think that that's a big point. I walked away from CTI is that the three stands stopped being a concept, three different concepts that were all important and valuable, but separate. And they merged into just the practice of it and the application of it and the way that we do it in the CTI. It became something that I understood as a cycle, as a unit, as one thing, as like the three stands. And I could do it. And I left the CTI not knowing how life would be. All the intensity was still there waiting for me at home, but I knew that I knew how to do it. I knew that I knew what the three stands were and how to implement them all at any time. Like I knew I had the skill, and how that would go. So we don't have that much time, Chanie, but if you have maybe something that you could say, like, you took the training, you were very focused on getting your Afterschool started.
Right.
But, taking the CTI, going to that training, what would you say, or was there a specific thing that you felt shifted for you or opened up for you in a different way through the CTI experience?
I think it just brought everything that you had taught in the training of the 6-hour training, I think it was, over 3 weeks. It went so much deeper. And what I appreciated about it was that I was able to then take it to the next level and train others. I had hoped that I might start training as in parenting type of thing, and that's not off the table. It's just that these years I was so intensely involved in getting the after school going. I did not have any moment or time for that, but it's still something that I can do. I just actually redid the CTI intensive training because my 3 years were up this summer, so I needed to recertify to be able to continue going forward. Now I'm at that next level, which is considered an advanced trainer. I'm very excited about that because with everything that I've learned and experienced, um, I have the skills and the training and the materials, the information to be able to share with others, with parents, with other staff, maybe at staff development of other places if they need, whatever it might be. So I absolutely encourage anyone to go to this CTI that Mussi is going to be leading. I think it's incredible. This is a first that you're doing, that you're going to be leading this. And I have absolute full confidence in your ability, have just knowing what an inspiration you are. I do want to add that I wish that I had had this training when I was at an earlier stage, when my kids were younger. I certainly tried to do the best that I could as a mother, but there is no doubt that I could have done even better, especially knowing the tools and this, everything that Nurtured Heart has to offer. So I've used it in many situations, regardless, outside, even outside of the after school, with others, with another, let's say another student who is having a hard time, not in our after school, but just an amazing shift that I saw happen, with a certain student. I kind of worked in the baby steps in that one because for whatever reason, it took, the kid was, and I asked, could we have 10 minutes? There's a whole context for this, which I don't want to identify anybody in any way. But when I said, could we maybe do 10 minutes of some kind of a learning, just 10 minutes, I'll set my timer and I'll be done, I'll be out. It was actually in this person's house. Um, the kid said to me, 2 minutes. How about 2 minutes? I said, 2 minutes? That's great. I'm going to take the 2 minutes. Let's do it. I'm going to set my timer. In any case, what I'm saying is I really believe that everything that I learned from the Nurtured Heart, it put me into the right place to be able to help this other child as well in an amazing, tremendous way. Like I said, without going into more details, because I don't want to give anything off, that might identify anyone in any way. But I just, it's been so valuable. And I think for people running schools, especially if you're in the New York area where where you're offering the training, I know it's the hardest thing to let your staff go, but if you could let your staff go for this training that Mussi is offering, you're going to have your staff coming back with the best tools to make your school great. And if you're just a parent, working your way through, muddling through parenthood, it's the greatest gift that you can give to yourself and your family and everybody you love. And then if you do this training, because it's not just the 6-hour training, it's the intensive, you're going to come away with what you need to become to be a trainer yourself. So I think
Yeah.
it's great.
I love that point, Connie, and I want to talk to that too for directors and program directors, school directors, principals, people who are running, who have staff under them. That's another piece to think about, and that's really funny story. Is once you go through the CTI yourself, like you have to pull yourself away or pick a staff member to pull away for the week, but when they come back or when you come back, you get to then train the rest of the staff who weren't able to come. So you end up returning on your investment many, many times over because like I know you, Chanie, I know my sister-in-law, Devora, she's able to train her staff. She doesn't have to hire me to do it anymore. It's like, like I would love for every school I've ever worked with and every, come do this yourself. There's nothing like having a trained, nurtured heart approach, like top of the pyramid in a school, because it totally drips down and everybody benefits from the top having this. And financially, you get to do these trainings yourself, so you don't have to hire some, and you don't have to outsource, which is a really good return on investment as well. So yeah, that's a really good point there too. Yeah, Chanie, I love. Yeah.
Yeah, this really influenced the whole way we ran and designed our after school from bottom up. I know we're about to wrap up, so I just share this that we called our after school. My mind was racing with different ideas, but Geo, for whatever reason, I liked the sound of Geo, short, simple, sweet. But then we found it to stand for. We made it fit with greatness, energizing oasis, Geo, which is really everything that the nurtured heart, is about, bringing out the inner wealth, the greatness of everybody in the relationship wherever you are.
Mm-hmm. It's so beautiful. And I'll just say, I also know we're wrapping up. We just keep going anyways. Thank you for your patience, audience, for listening to this longer episode. What Chanie just said before about, this is, if you're a parent meddling or whatever, like this is a big gift. We were just saying before we got on the episode this morning, we started this recording half an hour late because we had a really intense, in my home with my kids, we had a really intense morning this morning. Right past the camera over there, you could see evidence, which I am hiding right now, of dumped over laundry baskets and the results of a meltdown. But what I was telling Chanie is that the incredible gift of nurtured heart is that there's not one part of me that feels despair or I don't know if the word is despair, but like he's afraid of, like, doesn't believe in my family and in myself and in my kids because of this morning. Like, this morning was hard and it might happen again, but we got through it and we will get through it. And I don't know the answers, but they're there and they will happen. Like, it doesn't anymore. These moments of intensity do not define us and do not take away from our definition of who we really are and the way I see my kids and the way I hope they see themselves. So far, so good with that. They're not adults yet, but so far, so good with that. And it's just so unbelievable that I could walk through intensity like that and feel love for my child basically the whole time. And like, as I'm driving to school, to be able to tell my child, like, just so you know, it makes sense for you to lose yourself like that sometimes. And it's probably going to happen again. And the thing is I've been watching you since you were little, and they're happening less and less and less. And even when they happen for shorter, because your brain is developing and you're growing skills and you're growing the ability of being able to regulate and handle yourself. And I'm so amazed at how much you've grown, and you're so incredibly brave and strong and amazing for having such big feelings and still, navigating through them. And I know sometimes you don't even know, we don't even know the extent of how you're feeling because you lose your words when you're feeling so dysregulated. So you can't tell us how you're feeling, but you have such big feelings inside one little body, and you're just such a hero. And no matter what, we love you. Like, to be able to have that ending of the morning is just like there's nothing I'm more grateful for. And, it's just such a
What a
miracle.
lucky child to have you as his mommy and everybody, all your family and your whole big circle of influence, where I feel so blessed.
Thank you. I mean, it is humbling and beautiful and exciting. So I hope to see you in November, all you listeners. November, it'll be November 3rd. I'm not going to say the last day because I don't know, but 4 days later after that. I just want to say one thing that I haven't said yet out loud is that it's voting week. Tuesday is voting day. So if you are somebody, well, hopefully everybody here will vote. You can vote in advance, and we are going to be sending out the information of how to do absentee ballot so that it's super easy and simple for you to do it before the CTI. So don't let that get in your way. That's just something that came up recently. Don't let that get in your way. You can still come. I hope to see you there. mussidiskin.com/registration. I'll put the link below. I'll put the donation link below. I'll put the sponsorship link below. Please, whatever you have, if you have anything to share towards this intensive, we have a lot of women that want to come, that your donation can make it possible. And it is, as you just heard, going to affect the trajectory of lives for generations to generations to generations to come. So yeah, and with that, thank you so much, Chanie, and we'll see you next time. Hey, wait, don't go yet. Take a minute to find the beautiful quality that you have, that you appreciate about yourself.